set up in what they call wild weasel configuration. What they do is has all kinds of electronics on board and missiles that specifically tone in that's what we're looking for. They home in on radar signatures. So the crews of these things were really wild men. They would fly out ahead of a bomber strike force, wait until the enemy turned on his radar, then they would shoot their rockets at him. Meanwhile, the enemy is shooting those SAMs at them, and their missiles would go down and blow up the radar, which of course was essentially the SAM missile site. So our tactics changed. We sent these maniacs out first. They'd blow up the SAM sites, then we could go and do our bombing and head back. But they had to linger on site because the North Vietnamese got smart, and they would turn off their sights, wait, and then turn them on again. So these guys had to not only be the first one in, but they had to linger and be the last guys out. Really a tough job, but it really helped the survival rate of our bomber and fighter crews. Wild Weasel. Cool name too. Repeated themes that you keep seeing here is they build this airplane for mission A, in this case dropping nuclear bombs, and then it morphs into something completely different. I mean, nobody thought that an F-105 in 1949 or 52 or whenever they designed this thing was going to be in this role. Nobody could possibly have anticipated it. Well, I don't think they could have. Those guys at RAND are pretty smart. Anyway, so you start with a platform to do this mission, and it ends up doing that mission. I don't know what it means, but I find it interesting. I'm going to go into a different part of the museum. This is the part dedicated to the Forgotten War. The Forgotten War is Korea. Not only is it forgotten by most people, but I walked right by the display and went to Vietnam. So we're going to go back a few years to 1950, and we're going to check out the Korean War exhibit. But check out this giant transport plane with the clamshell doors in front. Wow. I get to say wow. An F-86. There's some airplanes that just look right, and the F-86 is one of them. It's a Republic F-84. I find this remarkable because they're the same guys that built the P-47 and much later the A-10. Republic was famous for building these giant heavy airplanes, and yet the F-84 is a very graceful design. Real pretty and sleek. Must have been, I don't know. Itazuka Tower. That's the actual banner that was on the tower at Itazuka Air Force Base in Japan. Guess who was there? My daddy. That's right. Just before I was conceived, and right after my sister was conceived and born, my dad was stationed in Japan during the Korean War. They're sleek, early 50s design, late 40s, early 50s. This is a Lockheed P-80, F-80 Shooting Star. I like the air intakes. I think it looks cool. They just had some real nice, sleek designs back then. Compare that with those MiGs the Russians were building. Ours are prettier. Just another beautiful P-51, right? Wait, what's that? Oh my God. Must be some birth defect. There's two of them on the same fuselage. That's not a P-51. It's an F-82B. What's amazing is, as similar as this is to the P-51, they claim that this is an all-new design. Come on, you guys. That looks just like a P-51, as any YouTuber knows. Another graceful design, except for one thing. They discovered radar, and they just planted this giant nose doohickey on this thing. I think they shortened the nose about 18 inches. This would be a pretty airplane. Nobody asked me though. The F-86 that I like so much, this is the Russian version, the MiG-15. The reason this one is significant is because it was brought over by a North Korean pilot for a $100,000 prize. He turned it over to the Americans, and we disassembled it and studied it. Yeah, the real one. This is it. We like F-86s. The whiner, I wasn't in Korea, and I wasn't in Vietnam, but Vietnam has twice the display with twice the detail. Truly, the Korean War is just forgotten, or not forgotten, but it's just sublimated. It's just kind of pushed behind. I don't know why, even here. See this big space in the middle here? This is all the space that they could have used to talk about the Korean War. B2.